I keep talking about interdisciplinary approach to engineers. Try to speak in the language of doctors, in the language of social scientists, in the language of economists, in the language of finance people. To doctors, I try to tell them. Yesterday I was addressing some eminent young doctors. I said, you people should learn a bit of engineering. Okay. So when I talk to social science people, again I say the same thing. Without understanding engineering, it becomes very difficult. So interdisciplinary approach becomes the most important aspect for utilization of knowledge for human progress. In this regard, this subject of industrial engineering is very dear to my heart, for the simple reason that it was the first engineering discipline which cut across borders of different engineering disciplines and interdisciplinary approach was initiated. If all of us want to progress further, we should take it beyond the boundaries of engineering itself. Okay, there are lots of areas like biomedical engineering, okay, and then social engineering. Engineering revolution is taking place in practically every sphere of human activity. What did we do in Hyderabad Metro? Let us try to understand. When we are talking about global competitiveness, at one point of time we used to think of competition among nations. Okay, nations used to compete with each other. No doubt, nations are still competing with each other. But today, more than nations, it is the cities which are competing with each other. Okay, in an urban environment, if you have to bring down the pollution levels, you have to go for the most energy efficient mass transit system. You have to go for the most space efficient mass transit system. This is possible with rail-based mass transit systems. In terms of energy efficiency, a rail-based mass transit system is 5 times energy efficient when compared to road-based systems, cars, etc. In terms of space efficiency, one rail lane in urban area is equal to 7 bus lanes or 24 car lanes. Can you think of any city having 24 car lanes, 24 lanes on one side and 24 lanes? It's impossible. No city in the world can afford. Even American freeways have failed. Today, America, so far, it survived because of the ignorance of the rest of the world. Today, the rest of the world is picking up with that American economy is going down. We have to realize, we have to learn lessons from the West. Unfortunately, we are repeating the mistakes of the West instead of learning. Say, you shall not build cities for cars. That was the mistake Western countries have made. Actually, say, you shall build city for people. You shall build city for women. You shall build city for old people. You shall build city for children. To have a rail-based mass transit system, these are extremely difficult, extremely complicated, extremely capital-oriented systems. Actually, they are highly capital-intensive systems. To give you a broad idea, today if you have to start, my project is 14,000 crore rupees, 72 kilometers. I am covering the most dense corridors of Hyderabad city. Okay, it is on an average, it's a completely elevated system. It's coming to about 200 crore per kilometer. Today, if I have to start it afresh, it costs about 250 crore per kilometer. Very expensive system. If I have to go for underground, it will cost anywhere between 500 crore to 600 crore per kilometer. So such expensive systems efforts we can't afford. So far as urban mass transit systems are concerned, metro rail projects are concerned, there are about 200 metro rail systems in the world. Out of the 200, less than half a dozen are built with private sector initiative by in this PPP kind of thing. That too, they're not full ones, smaller experiments. So nobody had done a project of this magnitude, 72 kilometers, costing roughly about 14,000 crore rupees of investment. Okay, involving about that kind of investment. Nobody has done it in the world. Okay, the point is, I mentioned it actually. See, we don't have that kind of money, so 50% should come from. But nobody has done a mass transit system in PPP so far. Okay, there are 200 mass transit systems, less than half a dozen, and only 4 are making money. That's Singapore, Hong Kong, Tokyo, Taipei. Rest are all making heavy losses. In fact, in many cases, their capital expenditure is completely written off. Even operating expenses they are not able to meet. So governments are cross-subsidizing. So in this kind of a situation, no investor will come forward. Nothing is available. Books are not available. So I had to start everything de novo. Okay, no document was available. So I had to construct first technical document, then a legal document, a financial document so that I can call for bids. The first challenge is this technical document. I assembled all my ex-bosses, brilliant engineers of different disciplines, civil engineers, mechanical, signaling, telecommunications, electronics, etc., etc. They were all, many of them became members, railway board, general managers, one became even chairman railway board. First I had to de-school them. I said, you forget about your engineering. Because, see, a very famous person, he said, 21st century's illiterate is a person who cannot unlearn whatever he has learned. Okay, this one has to keep in mind, because the problem with most of my bosses, older generation, I have full respect for them, for their wisdom, etc. The problem with them is they were so used to designing everything themselves in government. I said, look, you can't teach Bombardier, Alstom or Siemens actually how to do air conditioning. They know much better than you. Okay, anything rolling stock, etc. You are in somewhere, some other era actually. Now you go and have a look at the kind of rolling stock they have. That's something else. The AFC gates actually. When I come to that, I'll tell you the kind of sophistication that has taken place in rail technologies. India is nowhere. We're about 60, 70 years behind the technologies that have developed. I said, you forget about designing everything, please don't do that. So from input oriented specifications, I said you have to convert yourself to output performance oriented, output based specifications. You have to simply say that my platform, I want to have these kind of facilities. Okay, my ticketing counters will have to be like, my ambient air temperature in Hyderabad is varying from so much to so much. My throughput in a month will have to be so much actually. For that you please design the air conditioning. So for a safety systems are concerned, there are European standards are there, Japanese standards are there, American standards are there. So instead of talking about only Indian railway standards anyway, metro rail technology is far superior when compared to rail technologies. Okay, so don't talk about this. Any of these proven technologies, as long as any technology is proved in two parts, in two cities in the world, actually that's acceptable. So like this actually, then slowly, initially they were aghast actually when I mentioned that. What are you talking about? First they were surprised that actually I was contemplating a mass transit, a very sophisticated metro rail thing with in private sector. Can we trust private sector? That was the first question they asked me. I said, what are you talking about? Okay, are we not trusting private sector? Okay, in airways, you think that actually the railway engineering, railway security, okay, railway safety systems are more complicated than air safety? Okay, then they said, okay, fine. Okay, so like that, slowly I had to de-school. Once they appreciated what I was talking about, then of course with all their engineering experience, etc., they came out with one of the best documents in the world. In fact, this is the first document called Manual of Specifications and Standards. I demystified basically metro rail technologies. Metro rail technologies initially used to be an oligopoly of a few European firms, Bombardier, Siemens, Alstom, etc., and two Japanese firms. Actually, they used to manipulate a little specific spec, technical spec you manipulate. With that you get monopoly, oligopoly rights actually. That's how you increase the cost actually. First we demystified the whole thing actually. We said nothing doing. It's a completely technology neutral document we produce that, and we put it actually, it's for anybody, open source. Okay, so that really changed actually. This I consider to be India's contribution actually to metro rail technologies. Anyway, that's one aspect. I have a lot of respect and regard for some of the so-called experts of metro rail systems, but basically they started questioning me, saying that nobody has done it in the world, so why do you want to do it? I said, just because the fact that nobody has done in the world, does it mean that actually I don't do it? Okay, how did Yuri Gagarin went into go into space? Actually, before that, no human being went. Okay, does it mean that the human progress stops there? Okay, before Neil Armstrong, no person ever set foot on moon. Does it mean that human progress stops there? Somebody has to take a step, a courageous step, but it has to be a calculated, risky step. Doesn't matter. It may be a baby step. One has to take it. I have taken that. That's it. Okay, that was the argument I had with some of the experts. Then the most important thing: if you are not following the rut, if you are a path-breaking approach, if you are taking, be prepared for failure. That's what it happened in my case, and I am not bothered about the failure. Okay, this lecture I give in ISB and number of foreign business management schools. Basically, if you are trying to do something unique, something innovative, be prepared for failure, be prepared for ridicule. When our first experiment failed, unfortunately, because of the Metas episode, okay, you all know it, those who are in Hyderabad, they knew it actually. Then they said, we told you so unnecessarily, you have gone in for this, etc. They started attacking me. I said, doesn't matter. Okay, we revisited the thing. We said nothing wrong with our model. If there is a corporate governance failure in this country, if some company indulges in manipulation, even the board of directors did not know what was happening in that. Why am I bothered? I am not bothered about it. Again, we went in for that. And then we got, of course, now LIT, an excellent engineering organization. And today, it's all there for all of you to see. Okay, I will not go further into these details. What engineering innovation, they ask me. And whenever I am talking to many of these engineering people, they ask me, because it's a huge project, what we are doing is actually a project of this magnitude. Very few people attempted in the world. I'm talking about even private sector, so it's the first time such a huge project, but even in government level, such a huge scale, nobody. Delhi, in the first phase, 7.5 years, they attempted 60 kilometers. We are doing about 72 kilometers, that too more congested roads when compared to Delhi roads. Okay, here the innovation starts. The first thing, how do you fix the alignment? Fixing the alignment, we decided, instead of following the traditional methods, we'll go for global coordinates and DGPS. Okay, that's the first, because it's not much of time actually. I'll quickly try to cover as many things. So in terms of alignment, the first thing, what we have done when compared to any other traditional systems is, instead of theodolites and all those things, we have gone for global coordinates, satellite based system, and that's how we fix the thing. Then the second thing and the most important, how do you get, they ask me the question actually, see, what are the challenges you face? I tell people, in my project, 35% are engineering challenges, 65% are non-engineering challenges. Non-engineering challenges are much more complicated, much more difficult, as you would all be knowing, in industrial engineering. Human behavior becomes the most important thing, and human behavior is not linear behavior, and you require, even if you try with fuzzy logic, it becomes very difficult actually to predict human behavior. Okay, so the problems day in and day out, actually I will not concentrate much here. Only I am trying to concentrate on the engineering. Engineering solutions are only, our engineering problems are only 35%, and my non-engineering things are 65%. Okay, land, the most important thing. How do I start this project? Where do I get? Okay, for my 2 depots, I required about 269 acres. Okay, out of the 269 acres, major depots are 2 depots. Miapur is 1 depot, Uppal is another depot. Miapur I required 104 acres. Uppal I required about 100 acres. How do I get that? So here comes the innovation. I started interacting with the farmers of Uppal. The farmers of Uppal were, at the time, they were in utter poverty. There I could locate mossy grasslands. Okay, about 840 acres of land is owned by about 800 farmers, small farmers, marginal farmers. They were getting 20,000 rupees per annum as income. Actually, many of them were on the verge of committing suicide. They were deep into debts, etc. When I went there and talked to them, we use all sorts of things actually. We establish our community links, we establish our religious. When I'm talking that slowly, I'll come to that actually. See, that's how we have to establish and do these projects. Okay? When I established contact, when I talked to them, they said, "No, sir, officers talk like this. Nobody does anything." Okay? Every day there used to be agitation by some political party or the other. Okay? I convinced them. I said, "Please have faith in us." Actually, we got a GO issued. Okay? The innovation here is that we take that land, okay, develop the same land, part of the land as plots. Okay. For every acre of land we take, we give a developed plot of 1,000 square yards. When we went there, it was 9,000 rupees per square yard, the going rate at the time. Today, okay, after the developments I have seen, it is 30,000 per square yard. A farmer who was owning 1 acre, a marginal farmer, who was getting 20,000 rupees per annum, per year, okay, is today worth 3 crore rupees, because for 1 acre we are giving 1,000 square yards property developed plot, and the plot is worth 3 crore. This is the thing. It's a win-win-win, PPP, more than that. Okay. So the farmer got benefited, we got land. Okay, and HMDA, so a GO, I got a GO issued by the government. Actually, myself and the HMDA commissioner, we worked together and with other organizations. So what we have done is about 450 acres from that land we are using for developing the plots. Actually, with that, as per the town planning norms, you have to develop that. The remaining thing, I have taken about 150 acres. Water board has taken about 100 acres to develop the second STP plant there. So like this. Okay, remaining thing, HMDA is going to develop plots and they are going to sell. So from this, the Uppal thing started. So the point here is that actually, when compared to the so-called intellectuals, you would have seen those days actually how some people were attacking us day in and day out. Actually, see, when compared to these people, when compared to all of us so-called educated people, the marginal farmers who are illiterate, semi-literate people, they have shown more wisdom than us actually. They came forward. That was the first success point of my project. From there, I launched the project. So this is kind of engineering. When we are talking about innovation, you have to think of then what is the engineering innovation is that one is of course the land pattern, which we have done it. Second thing is, as I mentioned, when only 4 systems in the world out of the 200 systems are making money, how do you make this thing financially viable is my challenge. Okay. So what I have done is, when I studied these profitable systems of Singapore, Hong Kong, etc., I realized that only 50% of their revenues are coming from the passenger fares. Okay. Remaining 50% are coming from other than passenger fares. Mostly it is coming from the property development at the metro stations. I said it's a good thing. Actually, well, let us follow this. So the engineering innovation here is that when originally Hyderabad Metro DPR was prepared, detailed project report was prepared by Delhi Metro, DMRC prepared our report. They prepared it as if it's a government project. They identified 269 acres without adding a square yard of land extra to that, because these things, these facts, I keep hammering, people shall know this, because people say that a lot of land is being given to this L&T, etc., which is completely wrong. I have not added anything extra. The same 269 acres will be used for this particular project, which is required. Okay, through engineering innovation at the depots, 30% you can start constructing from ground level onwards. It's again engineering. If you have a look at our layout, we have prepared the layout in such a way that we could spare the land. And if you go to any of these Indian railway stations, you will have hundreds and hundreds of acres. It's a shame that actually, see, those things are being, other than of course railway tracks, they are being used as public toilets. It's a shame actually. See, when people come, foreigners come to this country today, after so many years of this thing also, we are not able to create even bio toilets for in our trains. Anyway, that's a completely different thing. Tokyo 70 years ago, what it did was, because of the land scarcity, etc., ground floor, you use it for the railway tracks, etc. Nothing is preventing you to commercially exploit the airspace. They constructed such huge structures, actually, see, of commercial space, residential space over the railway tracks. So same thing, why don't we do that here? Later Hong Kong followed it, Singapore followed it. I followed the same model. Okay. In the concession agreement, we said that ground floor you shall use it for depot, and all of the rail facilities are parking and circulation if it's at the station, near the station. Out of the 269 acres, 212 acres will be at the depots, 57 acres will be at the stations. Commercial exploitation of airspace can be done. You shall not sell whatever your property at the end of the concession period of 35 years or 60 years, depending upon the conditions. Actually, it will come back to the government. It's a win-win again. Okay, they shall use, they can let it out. Lease rentals, with lease rentals, they cross-subsidize the losses, because passenger fares alone anywhere in the world will only produce losses. Okay, with that, there is a lot more innovation in this. Whenever you are building a mass transit system, you always build a mass transit system for the peak hour traffic. Okay, but majority of the period is non-peak hour. Non-peak hour, your assets are going to be idling. Actually, this is an important challenge. So what we did was that, with this kind of a thing, so we reoriented what is called a transit-oriented development, TOD, which we are going to issue. Okay, you can densify the corridors. This is in town planning all over the world. This is the latest concept. You shall densify a town or a city along the rail tracks, along the mass transit system, so that majority of the people will have access to a mass transit in the least distance. Okay, so this TOD system we are adopting, other incentives we are giving. So this is how actually a lot of innovation is taking place. Okay, we have to do in such narrow congested roads. Okay, the critics were all the time at us. Actually, they were saying that imagine the kind of mess that is going to take place on Hyderabad roads once metro works start. This was a talk 2 years ago. Okay, I myself, when I went to Miapur, Kokatpalli, that area, I was shocked actually. See, I had to cross that junction, I had to wait for 3 signals to change. Okay, that was the situation. So then I took a bold decision. I said enough is enough actually. See, when we looked at the things, we realized that actually it was completely haphazard. Enough road width was there, completely haphazard. Okay, they planted trees wherever there was space. Then hawkers were occupying, all sorts of things were happening, etc. So we systematically did all that thing. Plantation we changed. We have translocated trees, and today you go and see how beautifully the whole area has changed. Okay, So we almost, some people tell me that, sir, you have created football courts in that area. They say that the traffic started moving better. Actually, we say. So that's again another point. Actually, so it's a war strategy deliberately, because every day in and day out, actually, I was being attacked by different the opponents of this project. Actually, see, from different angles. So deliberately we attempted the project actually from the outskirts, from Miapur one side, LB Nagar one side, Uppal another side. First we widened the roads. Practically, I wish I brought those slides actually. Practically every aspect of the city administration we took over. Okay, we widened the roads. Okay, my engineers all the time say, sir, why are you taking up all these things? I said, we have to do it. After all, we're a government organization, doesn't matter, they're all sister government organizations. So water boards, the culverts were in a very bad shape. We extended the culverts and increased the road width. So like that, number of things we were doing actually. See, with that, today you see, go and see any of those areas. Plantation was another challenge. Okay, for every tree we cut, we are supposed to plant 5 trees. Okay, five saplings. So initially L&T was getting worried. They said, sir, you're promising, as a part of the project, total 5,000 trees are to be cut. Okay, they said, sir, one of our projects in one of the cities in India got stuck for the last 1 year because one tree cutting permission we were not getting. The chief minister was not clearing the file. Imagine the kind of problems investors face in this country. How do you expect investors, international investors or Indian investors, come to this country and invest this thing? I said, don't worry about it, I take responsibility. Okay, so to again, you would see, see every newspapers, every now and then the things will be there, green butchery, this, that, etc. Okay, I said, first I gave an open challenge. Okay. You please identify, some of these NGOs who are attacking us, they are also on the forest committees actually, who have to give us the approval. I said, you please identify. Okay, whichever tree that can be translocated, I'll translocate. Come what may, whatever is the cost, we will translocate. Let it cost 20,000 rupees, 50,000 rupees, we'll translocate. Okay. First year we translocated. Translocation is a beautiful process. You prune the branches, cut the wires, roots, etc. Prepare it 3-4 weeks actually, and prepare ground elsewhere, wherever you want to transfer. Nicely you translocate without giving any shock to that particular thing. Some of the newspapers you would see, cut branches, etc. They're actually translocation. They want to mislead you. That's a different matter. I will not go into all that. But this is how highly successful. Out of first year 1,000 trees we translocated, the success rate is 99.9%. Very 2 or 3 trees died, all of the things survived. Then plantation. I said, what is the norm? 1:5. I said, why 1:5? I'll plant 1:20, 1:30, 1:40. Okay. So I started, again, you have got to be innovative in your approach. I started what is called Vanadiksha, Vanaprasad, etc. You have to, collective imagination of the people you have to invoke. Okay, that's what we have done. We have gone to schools, we have gone to colleges, we have gone to residential colonies. Whoever has got open space, okay, I would go and plant saplings there. So first year we planted, this is, my God, it's massive mammoth, 72 kilometers of stations, elevated, complete, etc. 2.2 lakh cubic meters, I think we are doing concreting. Okay, so how do you achieve speed for doing this kind of concreting? So reinforcement, what we have done is, we have gone for cutting and bending machines, completely automated CNC machines. Okay, number one, it gets the speed, that is, you bring all the iron rods, etc., that huge lengths, and cut exactly to the size and different shapes, whatever shape, including star shapes, etc., different shapes, whatever shape you get. Second thing is actually minimum wastage. Okay, that's how you get your savings, financial savings. So this is with we established 2 automatic cutting and bending machines. I only talked about the structural engineering solutions. In terms of technologies, in fact, we are the latest in the world. Okay, for example, CBTC, communication based train control system, for the first time in India we are bringing. Actually, Delhi Metro has not done it. It's radio based communication. It actually gives me, if required, every 90 seconds, every 1.5 minutes, I can run a train in one direction. Okay, ours is initially 6-car trains, initially 3 car, then it will become 6 car, 6 coaches will be there. So a train, if it's a 6-car train, it will carry 2,000 passengers in one direction. If I run 30 trains also with say 2-minute frequency, I get 60,000 phpdt, which is, this is some more things. What we have done is, I slowly tempted them. I said, Hyderabad Metro was initially prepared by Delhi Metro as a medium metro. I converted into heavy metro. Okay, that is the maximum capacity you achieve with axle load. Actually, from 15-ton axle load, I converted. We increased it to 17-ton axle load, because what happens is after 20-30 years, you will not be able to change the viaduct. Actually, all of the things, coaches you can change. Okay. So this is one thing we have done, and with other technologies, this CBTC technology, first time in India we are bringing the CBTC technology. When I went to France in 2005, it was my dream to bring this technology to India. We are able to get this today. Okay, that's a radio-based communication. Seeing as Delhi Metro, the next phase, phase 3, they're going for CBTC technology. It's the latest. Okay. Similarly, same is the case with AFCs, automatic fare collection gates. Our gates are highly sophisticated gates. There's no comparison between railway things and our things. In that itself also, the latest is what is called the near field communication, NFC technology. Practically with my mobile phone, I can open the gate. All of you can use your mobile phone if you want, actually top up a lot of sophisticated facilities, and it has got 16 fields. I can integrate all modes of transport. Not only that, still we are left with so many fields that even your gas station, your petrol bunk can be, and now banks are coming forward, they want to use it as a debit card, etc. So lots of, I don't know what will happen to Hyderabad. Hyderabad will get completely transformed once the metro is in place, the kind of technologies we are bringing in to the city. Same is the case with rolling stock. We have taken so much care, every small thing, using the ergonomics, how Indian hand is actually, how much is that? Grab handle itself is a lot of thing actually. See, instead of a single pole, if you cut in between and create 3, you would have seen that thing. So 3 people can hold it, and exactly to fit the Indian grip actually. So even seating arrangements, so much of care is taken in terms of ergonomics, etc. A lot of work. It's a night, day in and day out, we work on all these things. I take personal interest in all the things, everything. Unless I get satisfied, I will not agree. And L&T, I'm very happy to say that excellent organization. They do not mind spending extra amounts for these things, but they will not compromise in terms of quality and in terms of the technologies which they are bringing in. So the land which we are giving, the ground floor, is meant for parking and circulation. There we shall create some of the best facilities for children. Actually, they shall be able to play. So these things. So we have an agenda. Same is the case. I conducted special sessions with differently able people. Took their requirements into the blind people. They will be able to go on their own actually with the tactile strip which we are providing, like that. Every blind people, okay. Similarly, deaf people, what are their requirements? All those things we are incorporating into this particular project. So as I mentioned, it's a social agenda. In fact, when I made this presentation, okay, I said engineering is not simple engineering. Engineering is basically social engineering. I made this, what a mass transit system can do for a city, how you can transform a city. In fact, when I made this presentation last year, we were selected as the best engineering project of the world in New York in Global Infrastructure Leadership Forum. Okay. So we're happy today. There is international recognition for this project. Of course, we're at the initial stage, but initial stage itself already we got 2 international awards. One is that international award. The second one is the safety systems which we are following. ROSPA, Royal Society for Prevention of Accidents in Glasgow. I took another award along with L&T. So this is a thing, which is happening. It's a happening project. A lot more things are there. I wouldn't like to take much of your time, but my request to all of you is, all of us will have to strive to make this country a great country. It's a great opportunity. You're all elders. You have excellent ideas. Please guide the youngsters actually to be on the right path and to contribute. We can together build a better society. When small countries are able to do better than us, why can't we do? India is such a great nation. Actually, thousands of years ago, we had better civilization when compared to them. This is the message. If you are able to influence your youngsters, actually, that will be our contribution. That will be the contribution of industrial engineering. I have full faith in industrial engineering. Industrial engineers can do a lot for improving the lot of this country. Thank you very much.